The trigonometry chapter. What's the first thing we learned in trigonometry? SOHCAHTOA. What does SOHCAHTOA stand for?
Sine, cosine, and
Okay, sine of the angle equals opposite over hypotenuse. Ka, some sloppy Joe writing here. Adjacent over hypotenuse. And TOA, tangent equals opposite over adjacent. Okay, then we probably didn't have this memorized as well, but what were the reciprocal functions? Like what goes with sine? Cosecant. So cosecant is basically sine upside down. Cosecant is sine upside down. Okay, what went with cosine? Secant.
I'll get it at some point.
It's never going to be cos. This is the only cos right
I
here.
didn't say cos. Cotangent. I was going to say that. Cot.
Cot. Yeah, cotangent.
Let's go, buddy.
Okay. We also did some radians and degrees. Okay. How do I turn degrees into radians? It's a little formula. Degrees into radians. Actually, before I do that, let me back up a little bit. So, where is 0 degrees on the xy coordinate plane? To the right. It's also 0 radians. 0 degrees. So over here, what's how many degrees? 180. Okay, in radians, how many radians was this? One. It was 1 pi. This is like 3.14. Okay, and then, so if we go a full revolution, how many degrees is that? 360, or how many radians? 2 pi. So like 6.28. Okay, just keep that in your brains, and then back to degree. How do we turn from degrees to radians? Some of you might have said it. So basically you divide out the degrees and multiply in the radians. Pi and 180 are like the same thing. So you divide out the degrees and multiply. And usually what would come out like 200 over 180 reduces to like 10 ninths. So it's like 10 pi over 9. Okay, and how do we turn radians into degrees? Turn pi into 180. You could actually use times 180 over pi, like the opposite of this. But what I told you guys to do was just throw 180 in there. So 3 times 180 over 4. That'd be like 135. Yeah. This is all ringing a bell so far. How about coterminal angles? Like if I have a 90-degree angle, what angle is coterminal with 90 degrees?
45.
You guys are not even. Does anybody remember what coterminal means? What does terminal mean? Ending. It means stopping place. What does co mean?
Two. Together.
With. Yes. Together. So an angle that stops together. In other words, what's another angle that stops at 90 degrees?
180.
Where's 90?
Right there.
Or what's it look like? This. From there to there. So what angle would also stop at 90? I can't believe you guys don't remember this.
270. Like 4, whatever it is. Oh, 360 plus 90.
Yeah, 90 plus 360. Or you can go backwards, remember? 90 minus 360. So if you go a full revolution, girls, stop. If you go a full revolution, it'll stop at the same spot, right? Like 0 is the same spot as 360. Those are coterminal angles. So you can add 360 or subtract 360. I think I got pretty much everything. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay, so I'll do the odds with you guys. Number one, yep, you should get it done in class. This is not a big worksheet. Nope, incorrect. Number one. So the question is, how do we find a positive and negative coterminal angle?
Go back and forth 360.
Yeah, plus 360. You could do it more than once also, but plus 360 would probably give you a positive normally, and minus 360 would give you a negative. So 165 plus 360, 525, and 165 minus 360 is negative 1. Wait, that's not right.
It's 95.
95. Yeah, I wrote the right one down.
Are you excited for
Sem Rev, yeah. Number 3. Okay, this one's in radians, so we're going to keep it in radians, but how would I find a coterminal with radians?
Just call.
Okay. Huh?
Oh,
Plus 2 pi, right? 360 is 2 pi. So it's plus 2 pi. 2 pi would be the same thing as 4 pi over 2. So it would be, if you add those together, 7 pi over 2. And minus 2 pi, or minus 4 pi over 2. So 3 minus 4 is negative 1 pi over 2. Okay, numero 5. Oh, there's negative pi. This one's kind of easy. So negative pi plus 2 pi, what's that going to be? Negative 1 plus 2 is 1 pi. And negative pi minus 2 pi. Oh, you know what I forgot to talk about? And this might be on the test, but it's not on the worksheet. So we did this quite a bit. Like if you have a 165 degree angle, it looks like that, right? Because it's almost 180. So what's the reference angle? Yeah, it's like how far is it from the x-axis? So you do 180 minus 65. If it's over here, well, if it's in the first quadrant, it is its own reference angle, like 30 degrees, it's 30 degrees. But if it's down here, it's like how far is it from 360? Like if it was like 330 degrees, it would be a 30 degree reference angle. But right here, what's the difference between 180 and 165? It would be a 15 degree reference angle. Okay, anyways, where were we? I finished that. 7. So you're supposed to figure out, are these coterminal angles or not? So this is just yes or no. So how can I tell if 20 and negative 380 are coterminal angles? Add 360. Or well, you could add 360 to that. Or you could subtract 360. Just see if they run into each other. 20 minus 360 is negative 340, not negative 380, so that would be no. You could add or subtract 360 more than once as well, but they're never going to hit each other. Number 9, 175 and 715. Whoops. So if we add 360 on this one, we get 435. Might add 360 again to make sure it doesn't hit on the second loop. That'd be 795, so no. Still a no. You guys know what 2 360s equals? 720. Any skateboarders in here? Hope is, I know.
A what?
Skateboarder. You go down there to the skate park on a Saturday, Hope's doing 720s.
No. You stupid.
Why should we like sit apart?
I used to skateboard, but I don't know how to do that anymore.
I don't know.
I knew you were stupid.
Olivia, I highly recommend you never get on a skateboard.
Girls gonna break both hands. Both break both wrists and arms.
Okay, you can just stop talking.
What?
Maybe your neck too. We don't know that.
Quit.
Just touch it.
Don't bully.
Don't even look at a skateboard. Something bad will happen. Or don't.
All right, Mr. Jordan, there's the door.
There's a reason my kids never given those hoverboards for Christmas.
Hey.
Give me one of those AFB people who like they plant and then like they
You
feel
go like this
Quit.
in the air. Very magical.
that's a win like
You
30,000.
can get out.
Okay. I will do
You and
Yeah.
Mr. Jordan.
All right.
can get out.
So on this one, kind of back to the right triangle business. We're going to do cosine of theta. So how do I find that guy? Pythagorean theorem. Do you guys remember this triangle? 5 squared plus 12 squared equals what squared?
3 squared of like 12.
No.
2.
5, 12. This is the hypotenuse. Got to be bigger. 5,
13.
13.
I got it. Sorry.
Did you remember it or did you plug it
No,
in?
it came to me.
I guess it came to you in a dream.
It
Yeah,
came
I knew
to
it.
me.
I knew it. Yeah, good thought.
Okay, that's the second most common right triangle. The first most common is 3, 4, 5.
Oh.
The third most common, 6, 8, 10. All right, anyways. Willow, how do we do cosine of theta on this one? What was the ratio? Jason over hypotenuse, what's the adjacent? 12, what's the hypotenuse? 13, so it's just 12 over 13. By the way, we're going to do this later. How do we find, if they ask for the angle, which they did, but if they did ask for the angle, how would we find the angle right here? Cosine inverse, yes. Okay, we're going to do that later, but right now this is the answer, so don't
Yeah,
put it in.
Say it again.
Okay. 13, we're missing a side again that we're gonna need. Okay, so how do I find side x there?
Is that it?
Grant, how do I find side x there?
Okay, so we would do
Oh.
Go.
like a squared plus 6 squared equals 10 squared, which would be
Okay, a squared plus 6 squared, 10 squared.
so the-
100 minus 36 is 64, so a is 8. Yay! 6, 8, 10. Okay,
maybe 8 over 10
a second ago I said that's the third most common.
equals 5.
All right, we're supposed to be doing sine of theta. So Grant, what would sine give us?
It would be 8 over 10,
Right.
4 over 5.
Yes, opposite over hypotenuse. 8 over 10. Make sure when you guys are taking the test, you don't go too fast. Slow. I know some of these might be easy for you, but it's also easy to throw in the wrong number. Pace yourself. 15. Okay, we're missing a side again. Forrest, how do we find this missing side?
11 squared plus 1 squared equals 9.
Yeah. So, okay. 196 minus 121 is 75. Square root of 75 is 5 square root of 3. So we are doing tangent this time. So for us, what would tangent of theta?
The opposite over adjacent, so
over 5 square root of 3. What's wrong with that answer?
Square root of the bottom.
So if I multiply by square root of 3, the top becomes 11 square root of 3. The bottom, what's square root of 3 times square root of 3? 3 times 5. 15. Your calculators can also do that part like this or this. Alright. 17 converts degrees into radians and radians into degrees. So 17 is a degrees, 225. You guys remember the converter from earlier?
180 over
Yeah, because you got to divide out the degrees, like cancel out the degrees and multiply in radians. So if we divide by 45, that's 4 and 5. 5, 4, 5. Okay, since 18 is radians, I'm going to do that instead of 19. Okay, how do we turn this into degrees?
17 times 180.
Right, pi becomes 180. Oof. Oh, that's a 12, by the way, not a 2. It's 15 times 17, yeah.
Mr. Jordan, when we
20.
turn into senior, are you gonna miss us?
Why would you ever miss those?
I think that's
We're
right.
like the least missable class.
Okay, well, not
You got, thank goodness there.
I meant the girls. The girls. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Forget class, the girls. So it's
I don't think you would miss you guys more than us. We have so much charm compared to you, Hope.
See, he's laughing.
at you guys.
No, he's laughing at what we said. You didn't say anything
I'm
funny.
gonna miss all those farts Grant let out 2 years.
That's actually cool. Like,
That's what Hope's gonna miss about high school.
No, brother. No.
He's gonna miss him.
Would. I'm taking it all.
Bro, stop farting at you.
It's my new habit.
It's your new habit. Screw up.
I'm looking at you. My eyes are open, kid.
How stuffed up are your nose to be able to do that?
If they're
Like,
not.
here, give us a
No,
little.
I do
Give us
like
a
your
hot moment.
class. When I'm not busy, not liking it.
Grant was the most.
He belongs to the streets. Just stares at him.
Oh, dang. It smells like a house milk.
Neither do I. I think you just go for it. She's back there. Or if we're just making something up to make me know.
All right.
You're just making something up.
Shall we begin the back page?
Wait,
Can we do this tomorrow?
didn't we just
No,
do the
no.
back page?
Well, they do kind of look the same, but the other, whatever you call it's the other side.
In your state.
The other side I thought was like easy instead of like.
Oh, well, we actually did do this side at the beginning of the chapter, and we did this side at the end of the chapter. Whatever.
So I'm not.
It probably is easier, I don't know.
Yeah, here's
Okay.
Please.
Let's get some volunteers, yes. No, you already did one, Grant.
I already did them all.
These 3 people did one already.
But I've been participating in class.
That's true. Hope always participates.
I was planning to stop.
That's why you give me hope, Hope.
Okay, go.
Okay, Eli, how about number 1?
So when did you just do the inverse of cosine using 13 and 20?
Yeah. Relative to that angle, 12 is the what side? Adjacent. Adjacent. 13 is the hypotenuse. Which trig function does adjacent and hypotenuse? Cosine. So it's cosine of the angle, which we don't know. So I just put the theta in there. Equals adjacent over hypotenuse. And then Eli, you said what? You said inverse. So the cosine inverse of 12/13, so he was right. Remember, we always rounded these to like the 10th place. I think this was like 22.6, if I remember right.
Yep. How do you feel?
I probably shouldn't draw this.
Sad. Yeah, you look so happy.
All right, Caden, relative to theta, what do we have here?
Sorry.
We have the adjacent hypotenuse,
So we're going to use,
cosine inverse.
okay, same thing as the last one. Cosine inverse of adjacent over hypotenuse. 45.2?
48.
48.2? Stop.
That was so rank.
Why?
You would get
Ever do
I was saying I should do it.
Okay,
No, you were not, bro.
You would get shot in like any
Olivia,
of
you
your
want to look tomorrow or today?
I can do it.
Or, I guess, I hate to say it for Thursday, because
I can do it now.
Yeah, I did it this morning. And it's so funny because you turn to give it, and you look at the sky. Like you, it was like, you wouldn't give
Did you
it.
Taylor Swift on the album?
you like these? Okay, Olivia, number 5, relative to theta, 7.7 is the what? And 14 is the which trig function? Alright, so tangent of theta equals opposite 7.7 over adjacent, so we're going to plug in what? Yeah, the negative thingy. And it's called
Wow.
tangent inverse of blah blah blah. Okay.
If it's 49.95, do you round it up to 50?
Yes. But you didn't round the number up to 5, did you?
I don't know. No, it's 95.
What'd you say, Shannon? Okay. Actually, Shannon, how about number 7? Relative to theta, 4.4 is the what? Huh? Relative to theta, 4.4 is the what on number 7? Nope. Not a trick question. Theta is, or 4.4 is adjacent. And 11 is, okay, which trig function? Adjacent, hypotenuse. Yeah, lots of cosines on these odds here. So cosine equals adjacent over hypotenuse. So what are we going to plug in the calculator? Shannon, what are we going to plug in the calculator? Cosine inverse. All right. What is different on number 9?
You'll find the side.
Right.
The angle.
We know the angle, we don't know the side. So these work a little bit
Why is
differently.
there a book on my desk?
So Ava, relative to the angle 37 degrees, 11 is the what side? You need a side you know already. And the side we're looking for, x, is the, which trig function does adjacent hypotenuse?
Chain.
Cosine. It's our 4th cosine of the page so far. Cosine, okay, of the angle. This time we know what the angle is. Equals adjacent over hypotenuse. How did we solve these when x was in the denominator on the bottom?
The thingy, they should.
Okay, yeah, you multiply by x, it goes here. You divide by cosine of 37, and it goes here. So these two switch spots. So x equals 11 divided by cosine of 37.
True that.
Can you stop like doing that with your voice?
Don't do that.
You know, how's it?
It's
You're severely autistic.
I'm gonna show this right there in the flash.
She is definitely not gonna be good.
She's been in
Oh,
our
Mr.
math
Jordan.
class the whole time.
Oh.
Yeah, we can talk about
Mr.
it.
Jordan's not even done with it.
I often get confused for Taylor Swift.
I knew that.
Figure it out. Are you stupid?
Calm it. I know it is.
You're ugly.
You're so handsome.
All right. Let's see, who's left?
Is it the answer just 11 over, like,
Bro, are we not
you
done?
just put that into?
Yeah, whatever that equals.
Oh, we have one
I do
question.
not know.
Son of a
I
signal.
put 13.7.
13.8.
13.8.
Dang,
Where you go?
fatty. Thank you, Hope. You're welcome.
Okay, Issa.
I don't know Lisa.
Okay, relative to 50.1 degrees, x and 5 are the what and what? X is the,
What?
x is the
X is the what, Jason?
opposite, 5 is the, okay, so it's tangent of 50.1. Okay, what do we do when x is on top?
Multiply with something.
Right, to get rid of divide by 5, you just times 5. So it's going to be 5 times tangent of 50.1. Easy peasy.